Welcome to a special Jace Media Music video interview. I am your host, Justin Smollison, proud Jace Media contributor from across the pond. I am pleased to present an interview with my guest today, who is also from across the pond. I'm talking about Chris Black from High Spirits. High Spirits' most recent album is 2023's Safe on the Other Side. It was released by our brilliant friends at High Roller Records. And Chris and High Spirits will be coming to the EU and with one date in the UK. And that's going to start on September 20th in Hamburg, Germany. The UK date will be September 27th in Newcastle at Cluny 2. And this run of shows will end on October 4th in Munster, Germany at Sputnikal. And I hope I said that right. Anyway, Chris is fantastic. I've been listening to him for a bunch of years now, and there's so much to discuss. I finally had the pleasure of seeing him live earlier this year, and I'm a big fan. I bought this album when I was there. It's called Motivator. As you're going to hear, one of my son's favorite songs is off of this album. So we're going to have so much fun and discuss what's happening with High Spirits, what the touring schedule is like, and what everyone can expect when they go to a High Spirit show, and what might be coming up in the future. Let's get to it. Jace Media Music audiences worldwide, please welcome from High Spirits, Chris Black. As in, you go by the name Professor Black sometimes.
Sometimes I do, yeah.
Are you an actual professor? I could see you as an English professor. That's my guess.
I am not an actual professor, but I think it may have been. It may have been that those aspects of my personality that you're picking up on that led to that nickname. It wasn't what I chose. It was something that was kind of flung at me in an almost kind of sarcastic way, like, okay, whatever you say, Professor. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna claim that and turn that back around. And at the time, it reminded me of the game Clue. Well,
yeah.
It's a movie and everything now
Sure,
too.
sure.
But I think there was a
Professor Plum.
Professor Plum, right?
Yeah.
So it just sounded it had some some nostalgic ring to it also, I think, because of that. And I tried it on and it fit, and now that's one of the main names that I use creatively.
Have you ever considered going into education?
Not as a teacher.
Oh, as a student.
Yeah, I've considered furthering my not for a while, but maybe 10 or 20 years ago I did think about going to law school or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Haven't followed through, but hopefully there's still time for something like that if I get the urge, the opportunity.
You're never too late. You're
Hope
never too
not.
late,
Hope not.
That's all right. So let's talk, man. I've been listening to you now since Hard to Stop came out,
Cool.
and I think you took it up a level with Safe on the Other Side. I will say I love both albums, but I think the newer one is even better.
Well, thank you.
And then I had the chance to see you at the Legions of Metal Festival in Chicago, your hometown, right?
Yes, sir. Well,
Yeah.
I wasn't born here, but my kids were. I put it
Okay.
that way. Yeah.
Your hometown now.
Yes.
And so tell us, what have the last couple of years been like for Chris and High Spirits?
Well, let's see. If we go back to coming out of the pandemic, obviously that was now we're talking about late 2021,
Hmm.
early 22. Things were in the outside world, in the world of concerts and tours and festivals and just travel, things were kind of coming back online, not all at once, right? It was kind of
Right.
patchy. There were, and even locally, it was patchy. There were some of the bigger venues were starting to have normal programming. Maybe by the end of 21, there were some of these like DIY punk venues who never stopped having shows. You know
Right.
what I mean? So it was again, even locally, it was uh, very patchy, and certainly internationally. I know the countries such as Germany, where they had more, let's say, more strict. I don't want to say lockdown because that's not really what it was, but pandemic advisories that were
Okay.
more strictly enforced in some places. Even that was localized. Like certain German states were coming back online sooner than some others. So it was very touch and go. It was very hit and miss. But by the end of 22, we were in a position of making plans for 23 that we could be pretty sure were actually going to happen.
Right.
So in 2023, we actually went over to Europe 3 times,
Wow.
um, for a total of, I mean, it wasn't anything crazy. That was maybe a total of 25 shows, I want to say, which, a lot of bands, that's a drop in the bucket. For a band like this, that's a pretty big workload, pretty big commitment.
Yeah.
Um, and all three of those trips were very successful in the sense that we got to revisit a lot of our favorite places, but also uh, go to some new places. We got to be a support band for Raven
Okay.
for 8 or 9 shows in the fall of 23. Um, and that was awesome on a lot of levels. That was awesome because there's definitely some overlap with
Hmm.
our audience and theirs, but not completely, of course, which is what you want, I think, in a tour package. You want to cast a wider net by bringing bands together who don't have the exact same audience.
Right.
Of course, you don't want to like completely alienate people and have half the room being like, "Who the hell are these guys?"
No, but you
Um,
find a happy medium for sure.
exactly, exactly. And promoters understand that too. Um, so that was 23, a very productive year for us. And then at the end of that year, of course, that's when Safe on the Other Side came out. So we kind of did things a little bit backwards in that we did all the touring
Right.
in the first part of the year and then followed it up with an album, which I think it kind of goes against the convention of like you release the album and then do the touring.
But
Uh,
those were unconventional times, Chris.
exactly, and
You gotta adapt.
we're an unconventional band regardless of the times too. I mean, we're not following any kind of playbook or model, or we're not beholden to a management company that's trying to um, hit certain markers in a certain order.
Hmm.
We're kind of uh, we're kind of on our own path, which has led us to some cool and interesting places. Um,
Totally.
so we have no problem continuing that way. So that was 23. It ended on the album release, which was great.
Yeah.
It seemed to really hit the target. Of course, that's when you and I had our
That
previous
was a
conversation,
yeah.
which was uh, which was a highlight among many great interactions and interviews that we gave then.
Thank you.
Going into 24, we did a hometown sort of album release show early in the year, but then we took a break, which maybe people weren't expecting us to do, but there were some things going on um, internally, but especially in people's lives within the band.
Yeah, you
That
all have lives and families that you
eh,
gotta take care of and jobs and stuff, right?
Totally, and there's the multiplier is five. In a
Yeah.
three-piece band, that's three human lives that you need to work around. Um, you know, 5 people is a lot. That's a large group, and to bring those people together um, for a tour, even for rehearsing, sometimes can be a challenge. And we saw some things, excuse me, in 24 coming our way. Individually,
Hmm.
personally. I don't mean as a band.
Right.
Although some of these things were opportunities that people's other bands were wanting to say yes to. And anyway, long story short, it was kind of a confluence of things that we could see on the horizon. Said, you know what? Let's not try to work around this or do anything half-assed or cut any corners. Let's
Mhm.
just pause, focus on what we may want to do in 2025 and pick it up there. So now here we are. We kicked off. We had actually. It's no small thing either that we had a lineup change in 2024. Also,
Okay.
we changed bass players. So that, even though we were kind of out of the what do you want to say, out of the public eye during the
Hmm.
second half of last year, we were honestly rehearsing more than we ever have, because we had somebody who was completely new to the band, and um, he had a lot of songs he needed to learn,
Yeah.
and we needed to be in the room there with him. So as a result, um, we got really, really tight,
Yeah.
probably tighter than we have been as a band before. So when we went to Houston this year in March to play the Hell's Heroes Festival, we were really, really dialed in. I felt
Yeah.
that we gave a really good show. That, however you want to express it, firing on all cylinders, I think they say. Like, we really had that feeling. And again, when we did the Legions of Metal Festival
Hmm.
in May, I think we were still kind of in that mode of just having really spent a lot of hours in the practice room and kind of getting to know the songs maybe on a level that we hadn't previously, in some ways.
Right.
Um,
I'm gonna cue the audience in here. There you
oh, there you
go.
go.
There you go. And there's your guy there to my right, to everyone's
Yep.
right, to your
he-
left. What's his name?
That's his name's Darren.
Yeah.
And he's been a friend. He also plays in a band called Bible of the Devil,
Hmm.
which is a name that a lot of people will recognize, I think. They've been a band much longer than High Spirits has.
Huh.
They've done a lot of the um, kind of independent touring that a lot of our peer bands, you could say, of the last 10 years have done. It was Bible of the Devil who went to those venues in those cities first and kind of banged on the door, um, and opened that door to bands that play this kind of music on this level. So there's a lot of history there that
We're running the same circle.
we run in the same circles. We're from the same city. We've toured together at least twice. There may have been, no, we've done 2 tours together. So say that's like 25 shows or something that we've done together. So as I said, there's a lot of history. We run in the same circles. We were pretty sure that he was going to slot right in.
And he had.
And he has. We had to put in the work. He especially had to put in the work, but the entire time there was definitely this feeling like, okay, this is moving in the right direction.
Yeah. And I want to bring up something that I think is really important to mention. When I saw you at one of the photos, you were, and this is not an insult, you were not the heaviest band there by any stretch of the imagination. So I think that is a testament to the fact that, like you were saying, you want to cast a wide net. There is some crossover between you and some performers that were there, but you were, I would say, one of the more straight-ahead heavy rock and rollers. And you really, it's so much fun to watch you. You're right up there, and your delivery is, I want to say, and I mean this is a compliment because it's entertaining in a different kind of way. When you deliver your lyrics, it's almost as if you deliver it in a way like you do it out of this, as if you just came up with the lyric right then and there. And I'm thinking, how does he keep doing that and making me think that he's gonna mess up, but he doesn't? It was cool. I loved it.
That is cool.
Yeah,
That is cool.
that's not intentional then. That's just your delivery.
No, I think, well, it's hard to say what's intentional because it is very spontaneous.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things that happen during the show, or different, a movement that somebody will do that is very spontaneous. But at the same time, we try to kind of trap those mentally and be like, oh, maybe that was kind of cool. Maybe I should try to remember to do that at that moment the next night. And sometimes you do, and sometimes you do something and you come away thinking, boy, that was really stupid gesture. I got to remember to never do that again.
But I was up front, and there was a guy next to me. I don't know if he's a friend of yours or what. Bearded, short guy, not like a big dude, but he had a beard. He knew every lyric to every song. You know that guy?
I think I know who you mean. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was floored because every nuance, everything he knew it,
That's
and
cool.
yeah,
We
and
have we have a handful of people. We're and it's very humbling, and we're very grateful um, for this phenomenon that we do have a handful of people who, they tend to be in the crowd of people who attend travel to numerous festivals throughout the year, and who probably that's the way they've seen us.
yeah.
5, 10, 15 times. I think there's a guy, he is local to Chicago, but he's also part of that kind of festival going crowd. He's probably seen us 30 times. And
Wow, that's
we haven't even played our 200th show yet. So he has seen what is that? More than 10% of our
right.
total
He's
shows.
seen 15% at least.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
right,
exactly. Yeah.
right. So yeah, there are a handful of all stars like that who just like, and it lights us up, man. I mean,
Yeah, man.
you can't help but be powered up by that. Seeing it's like, man, where do you even live? We're in this, we're in we're in Scotland, or we're in
Right.
France, and it's like, and it's you again. It's like, and that's so cool.
I
And
just
hopefully
imagine.
that, they're thinking the same thing about us. Like, oh, there's my guys again. Let's
Right.
do this.
I just imagine he's like a local restaurant manager or something like that, and that's how he's spending his night. Which if that's how I would be spending my night anyway. So he just I don't know. And it's funny whenever I hear the song "Full Power."
Uh,
I'm looking at him and he's acting it all out and everything. So I'm thinking of you, but I'm thinking of this guy as well. And
that's cool.
yeah, no, it was great. I want to talk about that show for a moment
Mhm.
because that was one of the few shows that you did this past year up until September.
Right.
How what's that like? Is it tough for you to get a a gig like that, or is it easier because it's local and you've got the inn with the club with Reggie's? How does it work for you?
In terms of actually booking the show and
Yeah,
making
yeah,
a deal
yeah.
with the organizers.
Because that's all
um
you, right? Aren't you like you, I mean, because you are high spirit, so I have to assume that you're in on the ground floor of
I'm
those
the
discussions.
office. Yeah,
Yes,
I'm
you
the
are
office.
you are.
Yes, we did have a booking agent for a little while for Europe, but we've always represented ourselves, or I should say I've always represented us um here in the US. um and it varies. I would say, to generalize, I would say our schedule it's two different things flowing into the same place. It's what offers are coming in, who's in my inbox saying, hey, what would it take to have High Spirits play my festival, my venue, whatever,
Yeah.
combined with us as a band brainstorming, like, what do we want to do this year? What are some places we feel like we should go out and play?
Right.
Um, and neither of those things make it onto the schedule 100%. You know what I mean? It's a little from the first stream, and it's a little from the second stream, and kind of, and it's not a science. It's more of an art than a science, I guess,
Right,
putting
right.
putting it all together into an actual schedule. But that is kind of how it comes together. So to answer your question about Legions of Metal specifically, the promoter's a friend, has been
Yeah.
for more than 20 years. The venue, Reggie's, has been kind of one of our, not exclusively so, but one of our main venues
Sure.
and not just us. It's really every, I mean, that's kind of the spot
Yeah, yeah.
for Chicago hard rock and metal bands,
Totally.
and has been for a while. Not that they're pricks about it, or we have a monopoly on, or anything like
No,
that.
something like
It's
that.
just it's just one of those venues that bands love it. The audience loves seeing shows there, and promoters and people who book shows love dealing with them because
Yeah.
it's straightforward. Um, it's high end in terms of the tech staff that they have
Mm.
and the gear that's in there. Um, it's a known quantity. You just know what to expect from Reggie's.
Yeah.
So I want to say it was sometime last year, sometime in 2024, probably around the time of the 2024 edition of Legions of Metal.
They put
Uh,
out the APB for more for the
yeah,
next year.
or that there's just the conversations getting a little more. It's escalating from like, hey, it'd be cool to have you guys on to like, well, how about next year, or like,
Right.
what are you going to need? And then
Yeah.
questions from me like, where can you put us on the bill? Like, which what's the
Yeah.
give and take there? And it's just kind of gets refined from there.
Yeah.
We don't have a contract. It's all, everything's a handshake. When
Okay.
you're dealing with people you've known, that's not always the case. There are
Right.
there are other things that we do where there is more of a written agreement to kind of cover the bases,
Right.
make sure nothing malfunctions. It's pretty rare. It's
Yeah.
pretty rare that you need to actually open the book and point to the document. That's well, it's a separate story, but
That's all right.
that's only happened once. But with Reggie's Legions of Metal, Bob Byrne, everything's just like as easy as it can be.
And let me ask you also, because I'm sharing this photo. Here we are. Can you see
Oh
that?
yeah,
So there we are, right after your set. I was finally able to catch up with you because, like we said, we'd been corresponding for a while, and I picked up my copy of Motivator right here, and you were super cool. I picked this up from you directly. Are you the kind of person who still loves interacting with the fans during and after the show?
generally I do.
Yeah.
Um, there are times when I'm not in the mood, or my voice is especially tired,
Hmm.
or maybe there's a specific old friend who I haven't seen in a while that I, you know, would rather like catch up in the corner with. But generally, yeah,
Yeah.
and I like watching the bands. I'm a
Yeah.
fan of this kind of music, and we've, especially in the last couple years, we've been on these a few festivals where it's like the Hell's Heroes Festival this year, like on Saturday. Um, we had already played on Friday, and I pretty much just had the Saturday to, chill out and check out bands that I was interested in. And there was a whole bunch of bands. It was pretty much, start to finish, bands that I was at least curious enough to wander over and, see how it's going. But yeah, as far as your question, as far as, doing the face-to-face thing, yeah, I mean, it sounds a little bit cynical to say, it's just part of the job, but it kind of is part of if you want to call it the job,
Yeah.
it's part of the thing.
Yeah.
And it's also a thing that I think nowadays, um, fans expect
To a point.
a little more. Well, some are even willing to pay for it.
Right.
They I don't know what to say whether they expect it, but they seek it out more. And I think take no, I don't want to say it in a way that sounds negative, because it's not negative at all.
Right.
It's just it's part of the experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Because people want their photo. They want to be able to post it and say, "Hey, High
yeah.
Spirits totally kicked ass. Chris was cool."
And we're always happy to do that. We're always happy to sign people's stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and we're always happy to do it for free. I
Yeah.
think the whole, and it's, kind of a separate topic for a separate time maybe, but I think the whole like VIP paid meet and greet thing,
Yeah.
if it
There's a pro and a con to it. I could
there
see.
is there
Yeah.
is on both sides, on both
Yeah.
sides.
Yeah.
I don't feel I don't think we're the kind of band that could even do that, right? Like
Right.
I think if anybody said, here, pay an extra $30 and meet High Spirits, people would be like, what are you talking about? Be
Yeah.
like, no,
No,
I
it'd be better just for them to just buy the music, take a photo with you, and just
sure,
yeah, that's the way to do it.
sure.
Let
And
me.
we're happy to do it. I mean, it's not,
Yeah.
we don't feel, you know, I don't have the ego for that.
Right.
You know, we don't, would it be nice to make the money? I guess so, but we don't need the money.
Right.
Um,
No, and I think
we're taken care of fine. We know what we need on the road. We know
right.
what we're worth on the road, so we make sure that that's taken care of.
It's probably
Um,
more valuable for your reputation for you to not do it like that. That would be my
well,
guess.
maybe so. I mean, that'd be nice if that was the case,
Right.
because as far as I know, we're not doing it. Like I said, we're on our own path.
Right.
What works for another band isn't going to necessarily work for us.
Right.
Um, so
Let's talk about one of my favorite songs on this album right here, because I bought the CD, as you know, and I played in the car because I got one of the last cars on earth with a CD player still in it.
awesome.
And my son, who is now 8, loves the last track. It's called Thank You. He thinks that's the coolest song. I think it's a great song.
Cool.
And it is such I could understand where you wrote it with like a live audience in mind, just to say, all right, that kind of thing. But I hope you'll take this as a compliment. I could even see it as like maybe you took the vibe of a great Muppets or Sesame Street episode and just amplified it and just went
Oh,
rock and
maybe.
roll with it.
I never thought about that, but
It's got such a pure heart, but it's still rock and roll, right?
yeah, yeah.
That's what it's all about. Tell us a little bit about that one if you don't mind.
That was written at a time when kind of we were kind of, I was going to say we were just getting used to the whole touring and playing overseas thing, but we weren't. We weren't used to it. We were kind of still in a daze, showing up at these festivals and like there's a dressing room with our name on the door, and it's like, are you like, this is a joke, right?
Yeah.
There's gonna be some guy with a camera inside there pumping us when we open the door, right? And that kind of dreamlike, that kind of wonder that we had, say in 2012, 13, 14, as this was kind of just getting going, that eventually, speaking for myself, that eventually kind of gave way to just a feeling of gratitude, a feeling of like, wow, we did accomplish this. Like this is real. This is really happening, and we need to take care of it. And part of taking care of it is letting the world know how grateful we are for the opportunity that we've had through our songs.
Yeah.
Not because we had the best T-shirts, or not because we, had the coolest stage gear, or not because of anything, any gimmick, or because we were on like the hip record label of today. It wasn't for any reason other than our songs. And so, what better way to express that than to create a song, to kind of enshrine this feeling of gratitude that we had for our experiences. I mean, in a way, leaving out one or two songs, Motivator is almost a concept album about our experience as a band up to that point.
Oh, I could see it for sure.
Yeah.
As I've listened to it several times while driving, you're enjoying the ride, but you're also a bit mindful of maybe like the have a cigar type moments, because that's in Do You Want to Be Famous, I think. But mostly you, and then you're thinking about people that you're not with while you're on the road.
Sure.
But mostly it's you taking stock of all the goodness that's happening
Yep.
while you're there. It's a fantastic album. I'm so glad I bought it. I mean, I was going to buy one regardless, but I wanted one that I didn't have. So
Cool,
this was
thank
the
you.
one. And
It might be
also,
my favorite. In the
yeah,
long run, that one might end up being my favorite.
yeah. I want to tell you still my favorite song of all the High Spirits songs that I've got is a song called Lonely Nights.
Ah, cool.
Love it. Now, if I'm remembering correctly, this was an old one that you sort of did you revisit that one for
Yeah.
the last album? Yeah, you sound this. I don't know if it's a technological thing where maybe just the sonic quality is better. I don't know what it is, but and maybe the sound of your voice, maybe it's dropped a little bit. I like it better now than I did on the original take.
Oh, same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's probably why you did it again. There must have been something more you wanted to do. Tell everyone what you wanted to do.
Well, I always thought the song had a lot of potential. I thought it had a really catchy, very simple. It was kind of one of the last
I still remember
super simple high spirit songs that was kind of basically just two parts, because the part under the guitar solo is kind of just a modification of like the main riff. If you take the first measure as the main riff and move it to the end and start playing it on the second measure, that's actually what that guitar solo riff is. I think the musical term is a mutation. But anyhow, yeah, and I wasn't 2017. I just felt like, it got like 80% of it there. Kind of what it was in my head. Some of that was the vocals, some of that was the mix. Like the high end was a little kind of brutal, especially with drums and guitars. The new version is, I think, it's per minute faster.
Okay.
Not something everybody's gonna. It's not gonna jump out at you. It's not.
Right.
It's not like the Four Horsemen. Mega version. Yeah. It's not like that. Not even close. You might not even notice it. But yeah, it was just a song that I felt deserved another whack. And there's a handful of those. Going back, especially from the You Are Here album. There's probably 4 songs on there that I'd love to give another whack. And actually, that's there's no timeline on it, but that's very likely to be the next High Spirits studio release. The cliche old songs re-recorded and maybe a few new ones thrown in.
Right.
Just to kind of go back and they may not all. My hunch may not be correct on every example, but like I said, especially going back to like the You Are Here period, there's a few there that I think another run could only be better.
Yeah. Well, it's such a great album. I say from the other side. I Lonely Nights. Even as you said it, the solo, it is essentially a voice to me. Like I loved it. That was the standout track for me. I loved it immediately. So that was one of the questions. I know you got to go in a little while, but so it sounds like there is another album prepared, or at least in the works, in some.
Well, I'm imagining it. Let's put it that way.
It's conceptualized.
There is an album being imagined. Like I said, it would be. I don't think. And in fact, I know it wouldn't be all new songs. I think it would be a long time before I had an album of new material ready to go. But there are, looking back over the catalog, there are enough of those older songs. And maybe it wouldn't, maybe it would be like a special tour release. Honestly, and this sounds kind of cheesy, but it's true that I'm actually thinking about the streaming market quite a bit with that too, because for example, the song High Spirits, or When the Lights Go Down, which are two of kind of our live mainstays, and have been for more than 10 years. I mean, the song High Spirits, we played it at the first show, and it's never missed a show since then, obviously, but at the same time, it has never had a representation as a studio track, as a studio recording, that has that same energy as it does live.
Right.
And I don't mean to say necessarily that we're gonna set out to duplicate a live version on album, but I just mean I hear power in that song when we play it live that I don't hear in it on any of the studio. And there's 3 studio versions of it at this point. No, there's 2. I'm sorry, there's 2. But neither of them, it's like the thing with Lonely Nights, like maybe they're 80% there.
Right.
In case of When the Lights Go Down, that's like 70% there. And there's a number of songs, lesser known songs, that I can kind of cast my eye, you know, over the history and be like, you know what, that song could really pop a lot more than it does.
No.
There's a B side. It was originally going to go on Motivator. It ended up as the B side to on the Take Me Home 7 inch. It's a song called Just Like a Dream. Um, that would be kind of high on my list also for a redo. And not a lot of people know that song because it only
Right.
got released as a B-side on a 7 inch. So to a lot of people, I think an album like that could be could be interesting.
Rarities, new takes,
Yeah.
that
And
kind of thing.
and versions of classic songs that are going to perform better in the streaming market because let's be honest, that's not going away.
Right.
So the stuff that we have on those platforms ought to sound as good as it can.
Yeah. Now, let's also mention, like we said, pretty soon you're going to be going to the EU and the UK.
Yeah.
Starting on September 20th, you'll be in Germany, and you've got a couple of weeks worth of shows that will end in Germany.
Yep.
And for our local Jace Media audience right here, you're going to be in Newcastle at Clumy 2 on September 27th. What is it like for you to play in the UK? You do well there, right? You got a
We
bit.
have done well in the
Yeah.
UK, especially in Newcastle. Newcastle's kind of been one of our, besides Chicago, I would say that Hamburg and Newcastle are kind of our home bases,
Oh yeah.
our adoptive hometowns. Um, in 2023, we actually did a 3 night stand in Newcastle, which is which is pretty wacky.
Yeah.
Um, there's a whole like long backstory to how that came to be. That wasn't the original idea. There was an original idea that kind of morphed into the 3 night stand in Newcastle. And actually it was 4 nights. Then we played a fourth night uh, with our Motorhead cover band. So it actually ended up being 4 shows.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, we've been in the UK 3 or 4 times for, kind of more of a loop. This time we had a little more limited time and space to work with, and we're always trying to get as much distance as we can out of a tour while also being smart about it
Yeah.
and making sure that we're going to get back the money that we've put up to be able to do it because that does not get cheaper, believe me.
I do. You're
Um,
certainly not the first one to say that. Yeah.
yeah, that's a real thing. Um,
So you're gonna be
but
touring with Lady Beast for a handful of
Lady
shows?
Lady Beast are on, I believe, 3 of the shows.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that doesn't include the UK show,
Right. It's
which
right
which is
after
too
that. Yeah.
bad because right, yeah, after we come back from the UK, we land in Amsterdam. We fly back from UK to Amsterdam, jump back in our van, and then drive and play the first gig with them that night.
Yeah.
So we'll be counting on them to kind of bring us back to life after what I'm sure is going to be a pretty exhausting 24 hours getting in and out of UK. But
That's wild.
it'll be worth it. It always is.
Totally. Yeah. And like we said this last time, I mean, your songs are, we're talking straight ahead rock and roll. It's easy to I'm not saying that the songs are easy. I'm not saying that there aren't complexities, but it is easy for the audience to get behind the choruses very quickly. I think that was one of the purposes that you had was
Yeah.
like you got to bring him in quick.
Yeah, and that goes back to what you said about, some of the hand motions and the
Yeah.
eye contact and the things like that that happen on stage. And that's exactly why um eh, that's exactly how that pays off as it draws people in,
Yeah.
especially when we're in Europe and there's not so many native English speakers over there,
Right.
right? So you keep it the more basic the message is, the more um repetition. Obviously, you want to do it in a musical way. You're not just standing up
Right.
there uh, like the angel and the gambler or whatever. But some key repetition. We played our first show in France in 2023, and we played a song called "In the Moonlight."
Oh,
which
Oh, there it
and
is.
maybe I told this story the first time we talked. Actually, I may have
Yeah, yeah. No,
that.
no, it's okay. It's worth saying again. I
It
remember we were.
was
Yeah, you said they were right on.
it was literally the first time anybody had heard that song, and by the second chorus, they had it. You know,
Yeah,
they were singing it back to me by the second chorus, and that's just like, there's no feeling like that.
right.
Oh man,
That's
so
that's got to be great. Well, I'm so happy for you that you're going out there, still
thank you.
bringing the music to the people. When, on a selfish note, when are you guys gonna come up to New York? We're a little
We're
bit closer than the UK and
You are, and
Germany.
we are overdue.
Yeah.
Um, it's been honestly, it's been hard to find the right opera. We've been offered some different things here and there, and we always kind of chew on it and think about it and go, is that is that how we want to spend our time
Mm,
for a particular year? And it's not always so easy to say yes.
okay.
I wish we were all 20 years younger.
Right.
But the way we do it is we say, okay, this is how much time we can reasonably be away from our families, our
Hmm.
jobs, our households, in a particular year, and then we try to spend that time in a way that's going to be the most fun, the most productive, and it's going to get people excited.
Yeah.
So I wish I had a less circuitous answer for you. Um,
I love how you're not a professor for real, but you say words like circuitous and make me crack open my thesaurus. Like, ah, shit. Gotta do homework now. Talking to Chris from High Spirits.
oh, sorry, man.
No, it's great, and I got to say, anybody who's on who if you don't already have your tickets, if you're on the fence about whether or not you're going to do it, I was so pleasantly surprised at how much I loved being there. It wasn't just like, oh, cool, a band I know. Like I was right up there with you.
Awesome.
It was like being on a ride, and it was just such a blast. And if you're going to bring what you brought to Reggie's over to the shows in the EU and the UK, then they're gonna love it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, we try to do what we do, every time.
Yeah,
Not every show is going to be your best show ever, but we
but
certainly go into it with the attitude of, um,
reach for the glory.
gotta reach for the glory, gotta reach for the people who had never seen us before,
Right.
and who we're making a first impression on, because, even doing this for 15 years like we have, there's still a lot of people out there who or don't know us at all, or
Yeah.
um, know us but have never seen us. So we have to, at least try to do our thing the best we can
Yeah.
every single night.
And you got your white suits. You're in uniform. It's not
Yep.
a uniform, but you're in all white, and you guys you're just loving life up there. You can tell. So it's very obvious. And I just
Cool.
wanted to let you know that I wish you well. And
Thank you.
obviously, I think everyone's gonna love seeing you. The dates are on this interview. I'm gonna try to do that thing again where I get them to roll up right over here somewhere. So hopefully they'll see them all. That's it, Chris. It's so just don't go anywhere. But it's
Yeah,
it's such a pleasure to see you again, and I hope we get a chance to do this again.
you too. And likewise. Thank you.
Special thanks to my friend Chris Black of High Spirits for joining us here on Jace Media. The most recent album is Safe on the Other Side. It is available worldwide from our friends at High Roller Records. Also be sure to check out Motivator and Hard to Stop. That's also on High Roller. During the interview, you heard the songs There Will Be Magic Tonight, In the Moonlight, Lonely Nights, and Thank You, which you are also hearing right now. Links to High Spirits socials and their Bandcamp page are on this episode's show notes. And of course, if you are in the EU and the UK, be sure to check out High Spirits for the Live on the Other Side Tour 2025. This tour starts September 20th in Hamburg, Germany. And like we said, all the dates are on this interview show notes, and for our local Jace Media Music audience, be sure to stop by Newcastle at Clooney 2 on September 27th. for what will be a high-energy set. From October 28th through the end of the tour on October 4th, High Spirits will be sharing the stage with Lady Beast. Always remember to make legitimate purchases of the music, merch, and tickets to support hardworking artists like Chris Black and the players in High Spirits. Head on over to the revamped JaceMediaMusic.com page. We've got reviews, we've got interviews, we've got all kinds of great music coverage. Check out some of my recent video interviews with my all-time favorite metal singer John Bush of Armored Saint and Category 7, the drummer of Category 7 and Shadows Fall, Jason Bittner, guitar heroes like Herman Frank of Victory, and Soren Anderson, guitar player for Glenn Hughes, and rock and metal singers like Nick DeSalvo of Elder, Fate's Warning singer Ray Alder, DK Revell of Kickin' Valentina, and members of Avatarium, Captain Blackbeard, and more. Special thanks, as always, to our fantastic founder and publisher, Glenn, and all of my Jace Media colleagues. And of course, special thanks to you, the worldwide Jace Media music audience. Look for Jace Media on Facebook and X and Instagram and basically every social media channel you can think of. I am Justin Smollison, proud Jace Media contributor from across the pond. Thank you again for tuning in. Keep coming back to JaceMediaMusic.com. I've got more video interviews on the way.